Oh my God, I think I did it. Guys, I think I did it. Hi, can you hear me? Can you see me? Can you hear me? Let me check my audio. Oh boy, I did it. It's working. Oh my gosh. Okay, I don't know how the picture quality is going to be throughout this whole thing. It's looking pretty good now. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. One thing I realized before I even started the stream tonight was that my proto throttle batteries are pretty low, and I should probably do something about that before we actually get in here and start doing something for real. If I can find the right screwdriver head, I can maybe get this open. So tonight's plan, while I do all this, is to run through an entire ops session for 26th Street Station. I'm super excited about it. This has been 7 months in the making. Well, it's been in my head for years anyway. But about 7 months since I started building the layout. Oh, I have no fingernails. There we go. So that is exciting. It's exciting to finally be doing it. Finally be working on, finally be operating the layout. And I thank you for joining me. And I apologize for taking way too long to get the stream started. But c'est la vie. That is the way things go sometimes. Okay, so before I get started, let's talk a little bit about plans for tonight. Hopefully my head is in view, but if it's not, sorry. So tonight we're going to run through an entire operating session. This is my very first operating session for this layout. I have printed out a switch list that I created using my OptBuddy tool. This is a full session, so I'm working every industry on the layout industry. They're freight houses, but every sort of location on the layout is going to get worked at some point. And everything's it's a pretty full session. I'm pulling a lot of cars. 9 cars are coming on the layout, 10 cars are going off. We are going to explore how well how realistic I can operate an unloading and loading of a car float, as well as how big of a pain in the butt it is to put cars into the yard and then pull cars back out of the yard again. So this is gonna be an interesting one. I think we'll just go ahead and get started on it. Let's take bets to see how long this will do. This will take to do. It's a small layout, 11.5 feet long, 18 inches wide. A bunch of turnouts, but there's only like real 4 like areas to work. If I can get this done in under an hour and a half, I'm going to call it a success. I think an hour and a half is about as much time as I want to be spending operating anyway, generally. But we will see. We will see. As far as chat goes, I'm going to have my... How am I going to do this? I'm going to have my chat open on my phone so I can take a look at everyone. Matt says an hour and 16 minutes. We'll see on that. So hopefully I can respond to you guys pretty well while that's all going on. I'm going to try to move the camera around the room from get different angles as we're operating, so you can kind of get some good views of things. Let me know if like the camera's doing weird stuff during the evening. I'll try to address that as we go. But okay, let's go ahead and get started. I'm powered up. I should have track power. We'll see here in a second. And if I just flip a switch here, I should have power to the locomotive at this point. So now all I gotta do is actually turn the engine on. And that's working. I don't really know how I'm going to get started with this. I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pull my first load off of the float and try to work it into the yard as best I can. I can't get picky and choosy with what comes off the float because it's got to come off in a very specific order in order to keep the float from capsizing. So let's just go ahead and get started with the float. Okay, it is 9:25 now, and we are starting with the op session. I really like this locomotive. If you didn't see my video from the past week, this locomotive is a Proto 2000 that I had a DCC decoder installed, LED lighting, LED ground lights. Oops, I really screwed that up. Sound, a capacitor. Okay, so the way this is supposed to work, you pull all but the last car off of the float. and then detach. So get a higher view of this. I think I need to make some adjustments to my braking. I've got too little braking maybe. It takes too long for me to come to a stop when I apply the brakes. So an interesting thing with the Baltimore and Ohio's car float operation in Manhattan was that there's no idler cars involved. The locomotive can actually come onto the float to pick up cars if need be. Yeah, see, I'm underestimating. I gotta get used to get this locomotive. I'm used to my I think I have less brake on my other locomotives. Anyways, a locomotive can travel onto the car float if it needs to. The locomotives were oftentimes even lighter than a car would be, and so it was never an issue. Brake. It was never really an issue to venture out on the float. So they didn't need idler cars or anything like that. They didn't use them. There wasn't a whole lot of room in these yards, and so they just didn't bother dedicating extra room for an idler car. Okay, so let me identify what I got here coming off the float first. So I've got 201, which is going to the freight house here. I have 452, which is going to 24th Street. Oh, sorry. Yeah, 38014. It's going to. I have two 452s, but the end in 452, but different beginnings. Okay. Yeah, that's going to 24th Street here. I have 251 that's also going to 24th Street. And 1909. 1909 is going to the yard. So I think I'm going to go ahead and. Okay. And you're going to go ahead and take these cars, set them out here. I'm going to do a run around. Let me think about this for a second. This is where it gets tricky. This is where the fun begins because I don't have a lot of room in this yard. And I've never worked this before. Okay. I'm going to pull everything out onto that yard, onto that truck right there. I have much respect for the guys who actually did this in real life because they're dealing with a lot more cars and a lot more potential pitfalls. Matthew, you mentioned magnets. Are you talking to me about adding magnets? I will admit to not being a fan of magnets. I actually cut off all my uncoupling, we call them horns or whatever they're called. We're going to leave these guys sitting on this track for now. Let me see if I can bring... I'm going to actually turn this. Sorry, I'm going to see if I can bring my camera closer to this end. Good thing about having this on wheels is I can wheel things around a little bit. Okay. So 27201, this car is going right here. Let's go ahead and take care of this car first. Yeah, okay. This is where we get this is where it gets tricky. Okay. I'm picking up this car as well. Okay. All right. If I knew the solutions to this puzzle right before I even built the layout, you know, it would be, I'd be missing out on potential fun. Yeah, I don't have problems with people if you like magnets and use them. I just I had them on my first layout and I found them to be very finicky. But I did consider them briefly for this one because this track right here is actually inside of a large building, a very large building, a very tall, very large structure. So I thought about using magnets so that I could oops. Make sure I'm going the right way. I thought about magnets so I could be able to work that structure easily. But instead, I'm going to actually keep the back of the structure open so that I can couple and uncouple cars from the back of it. And actually going to model like a false interior. This is like I think it's like an 11-inch. Ooh. Oop, 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 oop. You didn't see that. I think this is like an 11-inch radius curve, possibly even tighter than that. It's really tight. Oh, nope. Nope. What are you doing? You're going this way now. There we go. Okay. One of the things that so I didn't even go that far over. One of the stories I heard about the guys who would work these yards in Manhattan, because these curves, these turnouts, and everything were so tight that if somebody were to bring a 50-foot boxcar into the yards, the guys who work these yards loved it because it meant overtime, because they would have to go so slow and so careful as to avoid potentially, derailing those 50-foot boxcars. I always thought that was very fascinating. But that's how close the tolerances were, or how little room there was, how tight the curves were. I need to get better about this. Okay. The first big bottleneck I have, and I'll show you guys the issue here. And I think I have a solution, but I'm going to save that until I do this a couple times. So I've got to get these cars, this string of cars here, onto these tracks. My runaround lead is on this double crossover. And the lead track is one engine and two cars. So anything that's coming down on this side of the layout can really only happen two cars at a time, which is not great. But we're gonna work with it. We're gonna make it happen. Nope. Nope. I'm going the wrong way again. Oh, stop. Now go this way. Whoa. Why are you going that way? Come on. There we go. If I don't do this in the right order, it gets all disheveled. I just gotta pay attention to what I'm doing. Okay. And we will send it down the track. think I'm going to change the speed curve on this too. Because if I do anything above 2 notches, if I go to 3 notches, it's too fast for this layout. So I think what I'm going to do is change the speed curve so that like maybe notch 4 is top speed. Just so that I can have a little bit of room to play. Okay, now we're going to come back. We're going to grab 2 more cars and put it on this track. Paul asks, what sort of uncoupling tool am I using? I am using, I don't know if you can see that in the camera. It is a dental pick, I think is what it's called, on Amazon. You can get a box of like 100 of these things for like $7. It's a little like pipe cleaner end. Oops. Hold on. I'm trying to talk and work at the same time. I think if you look up like dental picks or something like that, you'll see these. They got a little pipe cleaner end. I actually want to modify them to put them on like a wood stick, but they are the perfect size for Katie scale head couplers. They get in there very easily. You're not like fighting with it. They just slips right in. It's got a soft bristle, so it's not like going to like mess with your couplers at all. You know, potentially break them. You're not like shoving like a big stick in there or anything like that. Yeah, Paul. Yeah, they're really nice. Like if anyone's looking for it, like I want to do a video just about these because I've always had problems with like, you know, barbecue skewers or even like I tried those the I think it's Wathers that made them, or maybe it was Lifelike, but they're like the yellow sticks. Tried the no they might have been Katie that made them. Tried them, I did not like them at all. But these guys are the bomb. I've been considering going to Sergeant Couplers, and I haven't decided 100% against them. But these, you know, these coupling wands, and as nice as they are, as good as those things work, they're really really what's kind of stopping me from going all out and getting sergeants at this point. Another thing that's kind of stopping me is, let me break. I have so many tracks where you have to couple and uncouple on a curve in this, and those sergeants have to be like kind of like lined up straight, or you know, you have to kind of self line them up in order to get them to couple and uncouple the way you want. So I I've been a little reticent to try it because of that. Additionally, just the time it takes to like put them together for an individual car has got me kind of like, I don't know. I don't need to worry about like issues with like crashing into that one. I don't need to worry about issues with like interfacing with other people's cars, like on a free module situation or anything like that, or even like on say my big railroad, where I've often, not often, but I do have people that come over and bring their own stuff. Because this is so self-contained, that like I'd be fine using all sergeants on this and then just never having an issue of like compatibility with other people's stuff. Paul says the sergeants have used them hands-on, wasn't impressed with their functionality. For ops, they're great for big unit trains and roundy stuff, but I hate working with those in full session. I've never used them, so I'm only like going with from what other people have said on the internet, and it's kind of a little bit of the consensus. They look fantastic, and you either love them or hate them. And I already love Katie scale head couplers. I think they look very good. I understand that they're not like prototypical, but they're not bad. We have one industry worked. Dun, 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 dun. It has been 26 minutes and we have one industry down. This is not looking too promising to get in the under the hour and a half mark. Because I still got to get all this crap back on the boat. All right, let me go ahead and mark that. Now, I've got to pull all these cars here, and I've got to place this car, and that car here. And all these cars are going back onto the float. So the question is, how the hell do I do that? All right. Got an idea. This is where the fun begins, right? Let me think about this. I want to clear these out. But first, okay. I'm going to stick these first two cars on this track right here. Oh, wait. No, I'm sorry. I did that wrong. This car's going to go on that track. They were already on the right track. These cars I'm going to sit off on this track for the moment. Give myself a little bit more room. Sorry, I'm trying to keep it in view for everyone. Man, this is more complex than I was even expecting it to be. And it all comes down to just having space for things. Granted, this situation here where I've got to pull 4 cars and spot 3 on this track is very rarely, as far as my roll tables are concerned, very rarely occurring scenario. But I went with it for this test because I knew it was going to be trickier. And I really wanted to kind of push the layout. What do you guys think of how it sounds? I wonder if it sounds okay on the stream. It sounds nice in real life. This is a nice sounding locomotive. The speaker in this thing is pretty good, I must say. Okay. Let's go ahead and I'm going to disconnect. There we go. Oh, the mic filtering the local sounds? Yeah. I wonder how bad it sounds. I'm going to spend some time. If I'm going to do this regularly, I'm going to spend some time trying to figure out the proper way to do these things. Proper way to do a live stream. Humanity Junction, he knows how to do a live stream. Oh, crap. I was focusing on the wrong thing. Focusing on my camera. I should have been focusing on the cars. Do I have enough room to get through there? I think I do. Okay, I know what I'm doing first is I'm adding another inch to this track right here so that I can get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cars on that track and not have to worry about clearance issues. Yeah, I hear you. That locomotive throttling up sound. It's good to have. I've also got a squealer. I haven't hooked it up yet, but it's sitting beneath these 2 curve tracks here. I'm wondering how that would sound over a live stream. Okay. Probably should have stopped for the hookup, but we'll just go with it. All right. Let me break. Ooh. Oh, shoot. I forgot to throw the switch. Always something, I tell you. All right. So I want to put these cars on this float to get them out of the way. I think in the real world, you're not supposed to do that. I don't exactly know the rules. We've got 1 car sitting here already. I'm going to go ahead and do it. What we're going to do. Oops. This is still off the tracks. Yeah. Oh, it was off too. Okay. Yeah, so we're going to put these 2 on the center track like you're supposed to. Beautiful. And then we're going to have these 2, 1 hanging off of here, and 1 sitting on the car float. Something like that. Okay. Well, before I get moving, okay, so we put those away. That wagon top got picked up. It's sitting right. Where's that wagon top? It's sitting over there. Okay. So it's not put away yet. So that one there goes on this track. Let's go ahead and clear that out then. I am all bungled up. All right. All right, so these two cars got to go on this track, not a problem. This car needs to go on this track, kind of a problem. Because this is where I get into issues with my leads on my runarounds not being long enough. All right, well. Yeah, oops, hold on. I'm reading. I'm reading, not paying attention. Yeah, Paul, you need to load the center first because there's no way to access the center once you get the outside cars in place. Because that center, the cars are actually like fouling the switch. So that center track always needs to get loaded first. And unloaded last. I could do some fewer moves if it wasn't for this being so far that direction. But that's the prototype. That's how they had it, so I don't know. Granted, they had more space. But not that much more space. So this track here, this layout is 11 and a half feet long. If I was doing this for real, a 1-to-1 scale version of it, you know, as opposed to a slightly compressed version. Instead of 11.5 feet long, it'd be about 16 feet long. So it's really not that compressed. They really didn't have that much more room than I do. But I would really love those 4.5 feet right about now. I can tell you that. That would be great right about now. Oops. We're going to go pick up these 2 cars to get on 24th Street Station. And then I'll have 2 industries done. And then I think the rest are going to be fairly straightforward from here. We will see. Okay. That makes 2 industries done. Where is my pencil? In my back pocket. Awesome. Alrighty, so let me think what I want to do now. Okay, this goes to track 2 right here, and we pick up this car right here. This one goes on track 1. We pick up the Great Northern cars. We pick up this one, and that one. Okay. I don't know if it's right. I'm going to do it. It pleases me. Monday night triple header. Yeah, maybe I could do a different day. We don't have to put everyone up here on Monday nights. Most of my streams are going to be me working at the workbench, I think. Oh. Wrong way. I think what I'm doing. Tuesday is like, yeah, my wife and I go out a lot on Tuesday nights. So that may not be, I don't know, I'll figure something out. Thursday's the second session. We don't do that on Thursdays. I generally just, when I do live stream, it's generally when I'm in the mood, honestly. You know, I've never caught a TSG live stream. I don't know why, but they never show up in my YouTube feed. So I'm subscribed, but for some reason, I never see it whenever they're live. It just never shows up for me. I should try that bell thing. Have you guys had the same? Ah, crap. Have you guys had that same issue with YouTube, the YouTube app, where it's like it's just sending you short? Like I would do a search for, say, model railroad. I did a search for model railroad today, something model railroad. It gave me 22 shorts before it gave me an actual video result. I am not happy about that at all. Okay, I'm putting this car right here. What am I doing? Yeah, I guess I'm putting this car right here. Come on, give me some space. I don't know what YouTube is thinking. I know that like they really want shorts to be a thing, but stop trying to make the shorts the thing. You're not a social media app. I don't know anyone who uses YouTube that way. They're like the only game in town for, video style media. Yeah, stop trying to make fetch happen. Exactly. I do not want to scroll through 22 shorts in order to find a video on the video streaming service. You know what I want? I want a social media streaming service that shows me my friends' feeds and nothing else. Maybe have a tab for the other stuff, but I want the default dashboard to be people I've subscribed to and nothing else. No recommended videos. I don't want you recommending me videos. I don't need to see the funny video of the raccoon jumping out of the tree or whatever. The crazy thing is seeing Facebook lately with all the AI videos. And I don't know, man. Is it just me? But like some of these AI videos are like incredibly violent. Like fake videos of like people like jumping off of cliffs. And like I saw one the other day that was like old people sitting around like a patio in the backyard. And the grill explodes violently, like in this giant fireball, and they all go running. And like one gets knocked out of their chair, like these elderly white-haired people. And it's like now you're gonna have like thousands of elderly people who refuse to go outside anymore because they saw the video on YouTube of the grill exploding, and they don't want it to be them. And their grandkids are gonna come over in the summer to visit, and they're not gonna be able to go outside and play because that's where the grill lives. All because of this incredibly misleading video. It's frustrating. It's frustrating that that's the world we live in. All right, where are you going? 187. Okay, you're going over here. Okay, that car is going here. We're picking up that wood box car there. Oh. All right, let's get that Woodbox score next. What are we at now? We're at an hour. This is a 2-hour operating session, I think. Yeah, the AI video thing is kind of crazy. I'm curious what it's going to be like when there's so much fake content that everyone stops believing that anything is real content. You know what I'm saying? Like, what is your engagement with social media going to look and feel like if every time you turn on the app, nothing you're presented with is real? Okay. Okay. So we're going to pull this car onto track 3, put these cars back. We'll start with that. It's going to be interesting. There's the whole idea of the dead internet theory, and some people saying we've already reached that. Oh, yeah, I was right. What does your perception of the world itself turn into if you're not able to discern between what's real and what's not? It needs to be regulated desperately. Yeah, I agree. Didn't mean to turn this into like the AI slam fest video, but I think it's an important and interesting subject. If I need to pay attention to my railroad instead of talk. Yeah, oh no, derailed. How did that happen? Fuck. How did that derail? Have to keep an eye on that. Oops. What am I doing? Yeah, I think I almost see, in a strange way, I almost see the internet splitting into. I almost see the internet splitting into two camps. The camp of people who are on one side of the internet that is focused on, like, I feel like somebody's going to come up with a social media space that, as a business model, they say, we are not allowing AI generated content on our site, right? And I think that kind of thing, if you can make that business model work, I think would be very attractive to a lot of people who just don't want to see it. And I could see the internet kind of fracturing where the people who don't want to see AI go to one space, and then the people who it's not a big deal for them have the rest of the internet. And then the two just stop talking to each other at that point, right? Like I've got people in my life who, they see a funny something or whatever and they show it to me, and I'm like, that's not real. That's fake. And they're like, oh, I thought it was real. Oh well, and then they kind of go like it's not a big deal to them. Like it doesn't occur to them that like, oh, I just derailed my locomotive. And it derailed on that same turnout as the other ones did. I wonder what happened. Weird. Okay, let me shut up and think about this for a second. Okay. So Paul says, as modelers doing things such as real and tangible nature, I think we're all sort of in the same boat, though. We pride ourselves on the real tangible work. And I think that is key. And I honestly think that things like modeling, woodworking, painting, traditional painting, traditional sculpture, I think that kind of stuff is going to be huge in the future, because the thing that's going to separate humans from AI is that tangibility, is the fact that you put something together with your hands that's physical, it exists in physical space, it can be touched. I think that is key to the future of everything creative. I'm pretty down on AI for a lot of reasons. I mean, it is inevitable. It's not going away. We have to deal with it. But um, but life goes on. People will find a way to deal. And I work in a real tech focus field, and we're using AI every day, and we're discussing ways to incorporate AI in everything we do every day, because it can do good stuff, but I think when it's unleashed in a manner to mimic humans in order to fool the viewer into believing what it is, what they're seeing is real. I think that's when AI goes bad. So like Will Smith eating spaghetti. I don't know if you've seen like the latest updated version of that meme, but I mean it looks just like Will Smith eating spaghetti at this point. His skin's maybe a little plasticky, but you know, it looks as good as anything that's been in the movies for the past 10 years. And so I'm a little, it's a fun meme. People who know he's not really eating the spaghetti. But you start applying it to some of the other stuff that's out there, and it's not good. Yeah, enough of that. Let's enjoy spraying some trains. So even these that I thought were going to be easier are still tricky. What's funny is I don't have as many cars as I was expecting to have on this layout. I wanted to have an additional maybe 3 cars sitting in the yard, just not being worked in during an operating session. It's just kind of like, fun extra cars or whatever. I don't think I don't think I can fill up the yards much more than they already are, and having worked this like I'm working it now. Oh, wrong way. Hey, N-Scale Train Boy, how's it going? I am about 3/4 of the way through my operating session for the evening. Closing in on an hour and a half. So this thing is more complex than I was expecting it to be. Having fun. I'm having a great time, honestly. This is a lot of fun. This is really good. There's a few things that I think I need to consider moving forward. Ooh. Something happened there. I've got frog juicers on here, and I think my circuit breakers are messing with the frog juicers. Okay. Let me take a break and figure this out again. Okay, so I have these 3 cars are going back. This car's going here. This car's going there. That era car's going there. The B&O car. Where did that one come from? That one's okay. This one's going. Oh, this is 468,782. Wait, what's this one? What did I do wrong? 452 was supposed to go there. Ah, poop. I made an oopsie. So 899. It's track 1. That's Freight Stores Building. That's Freight Stores Building. That's Freight Stores Building. That's that track. And 452 is also Freight Stores Building. Wait, hold on. Freight Stores Building, Erie, Freight Stores Building. Track 1. Okay. I made an oopsie. Hey, Dan. Good to see you. Thanks for stopping in. Okay, we're going to take this track here. We're going to shove it on down to the float. Trying to do these car floats right. Ish. First is at 72. Okay. This mistake is going to cost me precious minutes. Stop, break. So what's new train-wise everyone's excited about? I've been a little bit out of it, so I have not seen much lately. Scale trains GP40s, yeah. I'm excited for 4-axle diesels from scale trains. What am I doing? I'm getting tired. Forget what I'm doing. Okay. Don't look. I'm pushing this down by hand. Don't look. Athearn SC40-2s are interest for me for a freelance project. What is it about the Athearn SC40-2s that interests you over, say, scale trains? Is it availability? Scale trains SC40-2s seem to be few and far between sometimes. The gong nose bell units themselves are what of interest. Okay. Right on. Oh. Gosh darn it. Didn't mean to do that. What stinks is I've got to use one at a time to get them over on this track because I got the car sitting right there. If I had a crossover right here, it would be so sweet. Crossover right here would save me. If I had a crossover right there, it would save me a bunch of moves already in this op session. Blowing the horn just because I hadn't done it in a while. There's actually a road that leads through here. Everyone who worked the freight yards would actually park their car in the center of the road, and you had left and right lanes around the center parking. Which is kind of fun. So I'm going to have a road here eventually. And then above that is the elevated West Side Highway, which is like a 4-lane road in the real life. I might have to go a little bit thinner here. But right about there is where that goes. So it's going to be fun to model. This where you point for the crossover or something, not possible to do the curves or something. You can't see it. It's right here. So it's not on the maps that I have. But I need to do a little investigation because something tells me that those maps might be wrong. West 26th Street changed a lot over the years. It was one block, and it kind of had a real simple, which would have been really kind of a fun track plan. And then as it grew bigger, it changed. But then it changed. It just changed kind of drastically over the years as they expanded operations. There was an automotive unloading platform in the 30s and 40s, and then that went away, and then they built a freight house, and then that went away, and then they built another freight house, and then eventually it all went away. So the maps that are available of it are a little inconsistent as to the maps that are available for it show. I just have to take a look at all the photos and the maps that are available and try to piece it together and figure out where tracks were when. Because there's a number of crossovers in the yard that I'm just not able to model just because of space constraints and the fact that I'm using commercial turnouts and all that. Right, that's not going to help. But as I'm operating this now, I understand why all those runarounds existed. I have 2 runarounds right now. And the biggest sort of hiccup that I've had so far in operations, other than the fact that I can't use a pro throttle apparently, the biggest hiccup I've had in operations is the fact that this double crossover here is so close to the float bridge and the barge. And I'm having to do this one at a time back and forth, which I kind of dislike a lot about small model railroads. Some people build them in on purpose. They build in these kind of switchback puzzles or whatever. And I'm just not a fan of that approach. And I realize that some of this is just going to have to be the way it is just because the prototype is the way it is. But I'm willing to bet all those additional runarounds really helped avoid this issue of pulling a long string of cars out onto the float bridge when that wouldn't be necessary, or when that was, not. And that could potentially be not. And it could potentially be not necessary if you're able to run around cars further down this direction. So there's a few places I could run around. I could put one here. This curve here has potential. I would have to modify a couple of commercial turnouts to make that happen. Wouldn't be the first time I did it, but I want to. If I do it, I want it to be because it's what they did on the prototype, or it's close enough to what they did on the prototype that it feels appropriate that I would do it here as well. See ya, N-Scale, Train Boy. Good to see you. Okay, I think these two Penzi cars go back. They do. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. What am I missing? These two Penzi cars. That Milwaukee car. SVP and GNN, those three. That Boston and Maine car. 1896. Right there. Seven, 4, 7, yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Two Penzi cars. Okay. All right. Almost done, guys. Yeah, Paul, it's I mean, obviously it's very compressed. This would have been 2 city blocks this direction. and then it all kind of comes in at a curve, but without resorting to hand laying every turn out. There's really no good way of doing it in HO scale, and then being able to reach like middle tracks and stuff. So you gotta make compromises somewhere. So, well, I think overall it's pretty good. What kind of inspired all this was Tim Morris's C&J Bronx Terminal. I don't know if anyone is familiar with that particular layout. But he it's a 1-to-1 scale recreation of the C&J Bronx Terminal, another pocket terminal in New York. But the track configuration is crazy on that one. And Tim Morris being the hand laid track guy, right? That's kind of his thing. But I saw that a bunch of years ago, maybe even 15 years ago at this point, maybe not that long. As I was just getting back into the hobby again, and just seeing that and seeing like just the idea that you could do like a realistic depiction of a real operation that included car floats and cool stuff like that in a small space was like, man, that was just so cool. So it's cool to get a chance to actually finally get down here and do it for real. And even though I'm doing a very compressed version of B&O, 26th Street Station, I do feel like I've done a. If I'm patting myself on the back, I do feel like I did a pretty good job translating it into the space I had available. I can't wait to get the building in. It's a real large building. Several large freight houses, actually. It's going to be good. It's going to be a lot of fun. Okay, we're going to finish by loading this. I'm hearing cars derail. What's going on with you guys? Why did you derail? Oh, I know why. Because I didn't flip the switch. Gosh. That's how many times tonight have I done that now? It's going to get punchy. All right, so we're going to bounce this barge. So whoa. Don't look at that. Don't look at what I'm doing. I'm going to grab one off the middle here. Four in this end, four in that end. And we can park our locomotive. Honking the horn. Haven't done that enough tonight. Without having the actual street there, it's difficult to remember I'm supposed to have one. Beautiful spot. Okay, now we're going to push these cars on here. And she's ready to go. That's not what I wanted to do. Whoosh. Right into the back. Horn sounds really nice on this, actually. Okay. We're going to take her back and tie her down on the engine track. And turn our engine off. Folks, this was a 2-hour operating session. and I think I might have done it a little wrong. Oh man, I was hoping for under an hour and a half. So overall, I think it was good. I enjoyed it immensely. I think the biggest issue I'm having is just how far down the runaround is, relying on that double crossover, which is prototypical. They had a double crossover in the middle of the road down on this end of the yard. But to rely on that for all of my runaround moves is kind of not super great. I know what I want to do. I need to figure this out now because I'm going to be, as soon as I start laying down ballast, we're locked in. So now's the time to do it. I'm gonna review my maps. I'm gonna review my pictures. I'm gonna see what they were doing. I'm gonna try to, now that I've worked this, I've got a good sense of the challenges that the guys had working this yard, and this is a challenging yard. So yeah, it's getting late. I'm tired. Thank you everyone for stopping by. I appreciate it. Let's see if there's anything else to see here. Yeah, Paul, thanks for stopping by. I really appreciate it. Thank you everyone for stopping by. I know there was a few of you guys that came in and out overnight. This was an exciting first operating session. I'm really excited with, overall, I'm very pleased with how it performs. There's, I think maybe a couple of times that there was some derailments that were a little unusual. I'm gonna have to take a look at what's going on there. My engine shorted out at one spot, but I know why that was happening, because that's because my frog juicers and the way that they're interfacing with the circuit breaker. Anyways, I got some homework in front of me, but overall, I'm very pleased with how things went. Thank you again, everyone, for stopping in. I really appreciate it. Thank you for sharing with this first operating session of the 26th Street station with me. Yeah, this is going to be fun to look back on this in a couple of years and see how far it's come, and how much it might have changed since then. We don't know. But anyways, thank you everyone for stopping by. I'm going to bed. I got work in the morning. I'll see you all in another live stream. And we awkwardly end the stream.